And we are live. We are connected. It is an exciting day. Sonnets to Orpheus, Part 2. Bottle of Wine, Part 3. Been drinking this for 3 days now, which is kind of pitiful. I'd expect more for myself. But here we are. We're live. We're back. We're back at it. And I've been awaiting this all day. I've been excited to read the second part of Sonnets to Orpheus. I think this section is a little bit longer. Just a couple more sonnets in it. Oh, yeah, this part has 29 sonnets. And there are some gorgeous ones in here. I will not have anything more intelligent to say about them than I did last night. But we'll read through them. We'll read them. Okay. My breath. Get hydrated on oxidized wine and tap water. That's why we do it. All right, let's get right to it. Sonnet 1. Breathing, you invisible poem, world space in pure continuous interchange with my own being, equipoise in which I rhythmically transpire, single wave whose gradual sea I am, of all possible seas the most frugal, windfall of space. How many of these places in space were once in me? Many a breeze is like my sun. Do you recognize me, air? You, full of places once mine. You, once smooth the rind, orb and leaf of my words. Breathing, you invisible poem. So we go back to that theme of breaths of wind. Yeah, starting off back with the rind, like the orange peel, and the orb. Lots of orbs going on, circular things. Oh, okay. That's the theme. We're looking for cyclicity. Christian Chacon. I got your name right, I think. Thanks for joining. We're back, part 2, Sonnets to Orpheus. And we're getting into Sonnet 2. Just as the master's true stroke is sometimes caught by a nearby page that's quickly seized, so mirrors often take themselves, that one sacred smile of girls, as they essay in the early morning, all alone, or in the glimmer of attendant lights, and later into the breath of their actual faces only a reflection falls. Those eyes that stare into the charred, slowly dying glow of hearths, what issues from them? Life glimpses gone forever. Ah, earth, who knows her losses? Only one who, with tones that nonetheless praise, sings the heart born into the whole. And interesting note, the whole is capitalized as a proper noun. Sings the heart born into the whole. The whole is something to be revered, according to Rilke. All right. And Sonnet 3, Consciously Lost. Thank you for joining us. Reading Sonnets to Orpheus. Yeah, again, part 2. Moving through them. We're on Sonnet 3, and there's a note to this one. 16-pointer. A large stag with 16 points or branches on its antlers. Which I believe, if we follow the European tradition, that's 8 points per antler, and they add them together. So that's your hunting fact for the day, I suppose. Sonnet 3. Mirrors. No one who's tried to solve you has yet unlocked your true being. You, openings in time, its course filled as if with endless sieve holes. You perpetual spendthrifts of the empty hall, when dusk approaches, deep as woods, and there the chandelier, like a 16-pointer, leaps your unbreachable divide. Sometimes you are full of painting, a few seem to have passed into you. Others you shyly sent away, but the one loveliest woman will remain before you, till across into her untouched cheeks the clear released narcissus penetrates. Um, yeah, I will definitely be posting this after we finish. Um, Christian. I am reading the Edward Snow translation. Um, this one. And it has, I think, most of Rilke's poetry. Um, I'm not going to make a comment on how good of a translation this is. I think it's pretty eminent. Um, and I've really enjoyed it. I've found a lot of beauty in this translation. Um, but I haven't read others to compare with. So I'll have to do that and report back. Or you can report to me if you have a different translation. But yeah, the Edward Snow translation. Sonnet 4. This is the animal that does not exist, but they didn't know that, and, in any case, they loved its gait, its stance, its neck, loved the light in its quiet gaze. It never was, but since they loved it, a pure animal became. They always left space, and in that space, unoccupied and bright, it calmly raised its head and scarcely needed to exist. They fed it not with grain, only with the promise of its being, and this gave the animal such power that a horn sprouted from its brow, one horn, white. It strode up to a virgin and was, in the mirror's silver and in her. Huh. He's correlating almost the story of Jesus or of Jesus's conception to the conception of a unicorn. Huh. I feel like I'm not educated enough to really understand these. I don't know enough mythology. Yeah, Christian, let me know if you prefer the Stephen Mitchell one. I'm curious to start branching out and exploring more translations and more variations, especially on poetry so important as this. All right, Sonnet 5. Flower muscle, slowly pulling open the anemone's vast meadow morning, until the loud sky's polyphonic light comes pouring down into its womb. Muscle of infinite reception, flexed in the quiet flower star, sometimes so overwhelmed by fullness that the sunset's call to rest is scarcely able to give you back the wide sprung petal edges you resolve and strength of how many worlds? We violent ones, we last longer. But when, in which of all these lives, are we finally open and receivers? Ooh, that takes me back to um, one of the sonnets from yesterday about being open to silence, finally learning silence, and you become the receiver. A little bit of cyclicity. Sonnet 6. Rose, enthroned there for the ancients, you were a cup with a simple rim. But for us, you are the full, multifaceted flower, the inexhaustible object. In your opulence, you are like garment on garment, round a body made only of light. Yet each single petal is at once the shunning and the denial of all attire. For centuries, your fragrance has called, its sweetest names across to us. Suddenly, it floats in the air like fame. Still, we can't find the word, we grope, and memory betrays us, goes over with all we've begged from the responding hours. Sonnet 7. You flowers, akin, finally, to the arranging hands, girls' hands from times before and now, laid out on the garden table, often end to end, your strength ebbing, gently wounded, waiting for the water that might retrieve you from an encroaching death. And now, raised up again between the vivifying poles of feeling fingers which minister more potently than you had dreamt, light ones, as you find yourselves suddenly in the vase, slowly cooling and giving off warmth of girls, like confessions, like sad fatiguing sins, incurred in being plucked and relating you again to those whose fate, like yours, is blooming. Just gonna sit with that one for a couple seconds. Okay, Sonnet 8. And the note on this one is the lamb with the talking scroll, which is the lamb in medieval paintings, which speaks only by means of a scroll with an inscription on it, which is Rilke's handwritten note. I'm not well versed enough in medieval paintings to know of the lamb that speaks with the scroll. Um, and this is dedicated to Egon von Rilke, the poet's cousin who died while still a child. He's also commemorated in the fourth elegy, which I recall now. Sonnet 8. Oh, you few playmates of a former childhood in the scattered gardens of the city, how we found each other and slowly grew close, and, like the lamb, while with the talking scroll, spoke with our silence. When together we felt happiness, it belonged to none of us. Whose was it? And how it seeped away amid the rushing people and in the worries of the long year. Carriages rolled past us, strange and transient houses stood around us, strong but false, and none of it had ever acknowledged us. What in all that was real? Nothing. Only the balls, their glorious arcs, not even the children. But sometimes one stepped, oh, one vanishing under the plummeting orb. Hmm. Sonnet 9. Don't boast, you men of justice, that is the rack is obsolete. Let me restart. Sonnet 9. Don't boast, you men of justice, that the rack is obsolescent, and that the iron no longer shackles necks. No heart's been lightened, not one, because a willed spasm of mercy wrenches you more tenderly. What's it received through the ages? The scaffold gives back. The way children treat their toys from past birthdays into the pure, the high, the gate-like open heart, the God of true mercy would step differently. Gigantic he'd come, cutting swaths of radiance, as is the wont of gods, more than a wind for the great confident ships, not less than the secret subtle consciousness that wins us silently inside like the quietly playing child of an infinite pairing. Sonnet 10. All that we've gained the machine threatens as long as it dares to exist as idea, not obedient tool. To injure us to the hand's more masterful lingerings, it cuts for rigid buildings, starker stone. Nowhere does it idle. It gives us no chance to flee, and leave it self-lubricating in silent factories. It is life, believes it does everything best, making, arranging, destroying, all the same. But for us, existence can still enchant. In 100 places, its still origin. A play of pure forces, which no one touches without kneeling in awe. Words still softly give way before the unsayable. And music, forever new, out of the most tremulous stones, builds an unusable space for house fit for gods. Hmm. I like this poem. I like this sonnet a great deal. Partly because, well, mostly because it pushes back on. This is surprisingly ahead of Rilke's time. He's pushing back against material reductionism, which we see so often in modern philosophy and science, especially, because everyone takes a positivist approach. And I think, more of a emic approach is better suited to actually understanding the world if you are willing to include humans as actual things, um, which obviously we are. So I really appreciate this poem for his willingness to observe and call out the heroes of both the Enlightenment thinkers and the Industrial Revolution, and kind of the inevitability of the desacredization of life and the world. Sonnet 11. Many calmly weighed rules entered death's canon, as we, creatures of conquest, pursued hunting. More, though, than trap and net, I remember you, strip of sail, which they would have hang down into the caverns of karst. Gently they lowered you, as though you were a banner, signaling peace, but then the boy flicked and twisted you, and, out of the caves, darkness cast a handful of pale, tumbling pigeons into the light. But even this is just. Let every breath of pity be as far from witness as hunter, who, when the moment comes, is quick to do what he does. Killing is one form of our wandering sorrow. At the serene core, all that befalls us is pure. That's really good. All right. Killing is one form of our wandering sorrow. All at the serene core, all that befalls us is pure. Wow. What an optimistic outlook on the harshness of life. Yeah. Let's take a note from Rilke here and be as optimistic and as graceful as he was, even to those who do evil. Hmm. And his note for this poem is it refers to the way in which, according to an ancient hunting custom in certain regions of karst, the strangely pale grotto doves are killed. Hunters carefully lower large pieces of cloth into the caverns and then suddenly shake them in a special way. The doves, startled out of their subterranean abodes, are shot during their terrified escape. And karst is a region along the Dalmatian coast known for its limestone taverns. It's where we get the name karst landscape in geography. Um, hmm. Sonnet 12. The note to this one is that Daphne is a nymph pursued by Apollo and transformed into a laurel tree. Oh, right. What of Daphne? Sonnet 12. Will transformation. Oh, be ravenous for the fire, in which a thing boastful with change forever eludes you, that designing spirit which plots earth's flourishes. It loves most in the figure's elan, the moment of turning. What shackles itself in survival already is rigidity. Does it feel safe in the shelter of nondescript gray? Beware, from afar the hardest is warning the hard. And woe, an absent hammer is lifting. Whoever pours forth as wellspring, recognition greets. And she guides him enthralled through the serene creation that often ends with beginning and an ending begins. Every happy space through which they walk marveling is child or grandchild of separation, and the transformed Daphne, feeling so laurel-like, wants you to change into wind. Funny that I just finished reading the four quartets, and now we read serene creation that often ends with beginning and an ending begins. In my end is my beginning. That's the final line of what is it, Bert Norton? One of them. Hmm. Sonnet 13. Be in advance of all parting, as it were, behind you like the winter just now going by. For among winters there's one so endlessly winter that wintering your heart will win through. Be forever dead and Eurydice, and climb more singingly, climb more praisingly back into the pure relation. Here, among the vanishing, be in the realm of decline, be a ringing glass that shatters even as it rings. Be, and know as well the terms of non-being, the infinite ground of your inmost vibration, so that this once you may wholly fulfill them to the used as well as the mute and muffled, stock of nature's fullness, to the inexpressible sums, add yourself jubilantly and nullify the score. Whoa, that is a fantastic sonnet. That might be the most gorgeous thing I've read in a while. I will return to that one over and over. Wow. For among winters, there's one so endlessly winter that, wintering, your heart will win through. You add yourself to the inexpressible sums to nullify them. You're the inverse, the negative. You fulfill, yet you nullify in the infinite ground of your inmost vibration. You are, and you know the terms of non-being. You fulfill and you nullify. Huh. And if this is addressed to Orpheus, bringing back Eurydice only to extinguish her again. I'm sorry I can't have more intelligent commentary on that. I'm just transfixed on it. Huh. Sonnet 14. Behold the flowers, those true to the earthly, to whom we lend fate from the edge of fate. Yet who can say, if they regret their fading, it is for us to be their regret. Everything wants to float, and yet we move about like weights, attach ourselves to everything, enthralled to gravity. Oh, what wearisome teachers we are for things, while in them eternal childhood prospers. If someone were to take them into his inmost sleep and sleep deeply with them, oh, how light he'd emerge, changed to a changed day from the mutual depth. Or perhaps he'd stay, and they'd bloom and praise him, the convert, become now like one of their own, all the quiet brothers and sisters in the meadow's wind. Our sticky note. Gosh. I wasn't too confident the second part would match up to the first, but I'm blown away. Absolutely incredible. And what less can we expect from Rilke? Just incredible, incredible poetry. Sonnet 15. O fountain mouth, you giving one, you lips, speaking inexhaustibly, one clear thing, you marble mask held up before the waters, flowing face and in the background, origin of aqueducts. From far away, past graves, down from the Apennine slopes, they bring you to the stream of your saying, which spills past your blackened, aging chin, into the basin opened there before it. This is the close and sleeping ear, the marble ear in which you always speak, an ear of earth, so that she's talking with herself alone. Slip a pitcher in, she'll think you're interrupting. Hmm. Sonnet 16. Torn open by us again and again, the God is the place that heals. We're jagged because we want to know, but He is scattered and serene. Even the pure, the consecrated gift, He takes into His world no other way than this, standing unmoved opposite the open end. Only the dead drink from the spring heard here by us, when the God signals to them silently, the dead. To us, just the noise is given, and out of quieter instinct, the lamb begs for its bell. Hmm. Sonnet 17. Where, in whatever blissfully watered gardens, on what branches, out of what tenderly unpetaled flower cups, do the exotic fruits of consolation ripen, these exquisite fruits which sometimes lie there in the trampled meadow of your losses. Each time you come open or you come upon one, you marvel at the size of the fruit, at its perfect fullness, at the tenderness of its skin, how it has escaped the wantonness of the bird and the jealousy of the worm below. Are there trees, then, visited by angels, and so strangely tended by slow occult gardeners that they bear for us without being ours? Have we never been able, are we shadows and phantoms, as we go on prematurely ripening and then withering again, to disturb the equanimity of these serene summers? Sonnet 18. O dancer, your steps translating, all vanishing into act, what lines they traced! And the final spin, the tree of motion, did it not whirl into itself the fleeting year? Did it not put forth its crown of stillness, so that your earlier figures might swarm within it? And up above, was it not summer? Was it not sun? All that heat from you, that measureless, radiant warmth, but it bore, too. It bore your tree of ecstasy. Are not these its quiet fruits, the jug, with its ripening stripes, and the fully ripened vase? And in the pictures does not the drawing remain, those dark strokes of your eyebrows, sketched swiftly on the wall of their turning? Fruits of constellation. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Fruits of constellation ripen, these exquisite fruits. Yeah, the entire poem is good. Christian especially likes the second half, and I can't blame him. Are their trees then from Sonnet 17, are their trees then visited by angels and so strangely tended by slow occult gardeners that they bear for us without being ours? Hmm. It's really interesting from like a theological perspective, I guess. I'd have to explore that much further, much deeper. Sonnet 19. Somewhere, gold dwells in an indulgent bank and is intimate with thousands. But to the copper coin, the blind man, that beggar standing there, is like a lost place, like the dusty corner behind the cupboard. All along the shops, money feels at home, and parades dressed in silk, carnations, furs. He, the silent one, stands, stands in the pauses money's breathing makes, sleeping or awake. Oh, how does it close at night, that ever open hand? Tomorrow morning, fate will fetch it again and hold it out, day after day, bright, wretched, endlessly fragile, till finally some astonished onlooker understands and praises its long endurance, sayable only by the singer, audible only by the god. Sonnet 20. Between the stars, such distances, and yet how much faster are the distances we learn of here. Take a child, and next to him place another. Oh, how ineffably far. Could it be that fate measures us in spans of being, and hence seems to us so alien? Think how many such spans stretch from a woman to the man she longs for and avoids. All is distance, and nowhere does the circle close. See the plate on the gaily laid table. These fish, their strange expressions, fish are mute, one used to think, who knows? But is there not finally a place where what fish language would be spoken is without them? All right, Sonnet 21. Sing the gardens, my heart, those that you never knew. Gardens, as if poured into glass, bright, unattainable, waters rose, waters and roses of Ishfaran and Shiraz. Sing them blissfully, praise them beyond compare. Show my heart that you aren't without them, that when their figs ripen, they have you in mind, that when their winds grow almost visible amid the flowering branches, it's you they embrace. Avoid this error that so many chances die when the one choice is made to be. Silk thread you were drawn into the fabric, whatever single image you made yourself part of, be it even a scene from a life of torment. Feel how the whole carpet is meant in its glorious weave. Be it from even a scene from a life of torment. Brings me back to Shezla Milaj, as all things do. He writes, "A life unendurable, but it was endured." I think that's from the Rising of the Sun. Um, but whatever single image you made yourself part of, feel how the whole carpet is meant. Hmm. All right, Sonnet 22. Oh, in spite of fate, the magnificent overflows of our existence, spilling over into parks or taking shape as stone men shouldering, tall portals rearing up under balcony. Oh, the bronze bell that daily lifts its cudgel against the dull quotid- quotidian, or at Karnak, that column, outliving temples, almost eternal. Today the abundance is plunged by the same ones, but only as haste out of the horizontal yellow day into the dazzlingly exaggerated night. But the frenzy passes and leaves no trace, arcs of flight through the air, and those who made them, perhaps all live on, but only as thought. Sonnet 23. Call me to that one among your hours that incessantly resists you, beseechingly near like a dog's face, yet ever again turned away. Just when you think to grasp it, what's thus withdrawn is most your own. We are free, we were dismissed, at the very place where we expected welcome. Afraid we yearn for some handhold, often too young for what's ancient and too old for what has never been. And yet, only just when we praise, since, we are the branch and the axe and the nectar of ripening risk. All right, Sonnet 24. Oh, this delight ever new, born of loosened clay. The first to venture had almost no one's help. Nevertheless, cities sprang up by blissful harbors. Water and oil filled the jugs. Gods, we plot them first in emboldened sketches, which fate then sullenly destroys, yet they are the immortals. Should we not heed them, since in the end they will hear us? We, a race thousands of years old, mothers and fathers, ever more pregnant with the future child, destined to surpass us and then destroy us. We, the endlessly ventured, and what time we have, and only the closed-lipped death knows what we really are, and how he always profits when he lends us out. Sonnet 25. Listen, already you can hear the first hose working, the human rhythm again, in the taut stillness of the hard, pre-vernal earth. What's fast approaching seems not stale to you. What has come to you so often seems coming now, as something new, always poised for it. You never seize it, it seized you. In the light of dusk, even the leaves of wintered oaks appear a future brown. Sometimes the winds exchange a sign. The shrubs are black, but heaps of dung lie scattered in the fields a richer black. Each passing hour grows younger. 26. How the cry of a bird can move us. Any shaped, created cry. But children, playing out in the open, cry beyond real cries, cry hazard, into the narrow crevices of this world space through which the uncaught bird cry slips, the way we enter dreams. They drive their shriekings wedges. Alas, where are we? Drifting freer and freer, like kites torn loose from their strings, we lurch about in midair, frayed by laughter, ripped by winds. Oh, array the criers, singing God, let them awake as a roaring, one deep current carrying head and lyre. All right, we get a turn to Gnosticism here. Sonnet 27. Does it really exist, time the destroyer? When, on the peaceful mountain, does it crush the fortress? And this heart, always the gods' possession, When does the demiurge pillage it? Are we really so anxiously brittle as fate would have us believe? Is childhood so deep, so rich with promise? In the roots, later on stilled? Ah, the specter of transience. Through the guilelessly receptive, it passes like wisps of smoke, and we, with our driving, our striving, the abiding strengths assume that the gods have some need for us. Okay, Sonnet 28. Oh, come and go, you,